France is known for croissants, baguettes, and these people. Well, guess what? They could animate too. The Long Long Holiday is an animated series that was aired on Netflix in 2015, based on the occupation of France in World War II. Now, I'm sure at first glance we would all probably think that it's some depressing cartoon. Hey, come on, it's the occupation of France after all. It couldn't be that bright, could it? Well, guess what? You're wrong. Well, technically the context is pretty bleak, but this series was a melting pot of emotions, history, and tension. And this cartoon places a rainbow in the dark, grey premise of a war, and it does so effectively as well. What on earth made this series so damn great? Let's get started. Now, let me get this out of the way first. This series isn't the absolute pinnacle of animated content, but damn, it was outright exceptional. It isn't something that you'd watch and forget the rest of your life. It just clings onto you and it changes your perspective on World War II. This series is created by Delphine, Mori and Olivier Vinuesa, and it is originally aired in France as Les Grandes Grandes Vacances. I probably pissed off a bunch of French people already. So here's a synopsis, and I won't give you guys any spoilers. Two kids from Paris, Ernest and Colette, headed off to Normandy on holiday to visit their grandparents. And they are having a good time and stuff, but oh wait, the year is 1939 and World War II broke out. The siblings' father was drafted into the army, and their mother had to go to Switzerland. And the series follows the life of these two siblings as France was occupied by Germany. Because that's a long, long holiday, gets it? Now, I watched the whole thing. It's just 5 45-minute long episodes, by the way. And I wasn't disappointed at the slightest. In fact, I think I recommend that you should grab your entire family and sit on the couch and watch the whole thing. It's that worth it. Really, the IMDb page described The Long Long Holiday as a kids cartoon, but I personally think that all people will get something out of it, regardless of whether you're young or old. Because this series not only portrays the reality of war and allows us to understand Europe's history and heritage and stuff, but it also has core themes and messages like responsibility, family and friends, and the fundamental importance of kindness and benevolence. And I think that we can all learn from that. Watching the series gives you quite a powerful feeling. Heck, you don't even need to watch the whole damn thing, you can just get that feeling when you're watching the trailer on YouTube. Like, you get this crazy mad war going on around you and shit's pretty dark. And there's a ruddy swastikas on your neighbor's house and German soldiers barging into your house to take your food. But despite all of that, people are living. I know, that sounds a bit odd, but in the trailer you see Ernest, Colette, and the friends, like, they're still being kids, getting on with life, messing about. And in fact, one of the creators, Delphine Mori, explains it best in the production website. There was this mix of childhood, jubilation, audacity, and a certain form of lightness. The children had found themselves in a world where urgency, death, and the unknown mingled with games, hope, commitment, and the need to grow up fast. Oh, and originally it's in French, by the way. I Google translated it. So, you see the point I'm making. Also, there's a sense of warmth and community that you get throughout this entire series. And this is emphasized and made even more emotional and tight-knit by the struggles and challenges the characters faced. And how the characters survive the odds makes watching this series a way more powerful experience than reading Wikipedia or watching the History Channel, which is a bunch of cockwombles selling stuff, by the way. Another thing that makes this series great is the visuals. The animation is smooth as hell, and the movements are very fluid, which I like. But the best eye candy of all is the environmental design. I've never been to Normandy before, but I could hear the bells of a village church ringing and feel the dirt that gets in your shoes from the muddy paths just by looking at the background design. It's like you've traveled to another part of the world. The great thing about it is the attention to detail, which is something I don't see too much in Western animation and more in anime or Miyazaki films. Everything from the layout of the village, the war memorial in front of the church, and the boilerplates on the car creates a lovely romantic atmosphere of rural France. And to be honest, I think the creators added the beautiful surroundings not only to replicate the area in the way it looks in real life, but to contrast it against the dark and crummy war that's going on. It serves to remind us as the audience that there's still an opportunity for the good side of the world to exist, even when there's a war raging. And this could apply to the landscape, or even the characters. And this brings us to our last point. In the beginning of the video, I placed a quote about history from David Hume. History's chief purpose is only to discover the constant and universal principles of human nature, he said. And honestly, this couldn't be more true. This entire series is based on human nature. The Germans imposing requisitions on French civilians is part of human nature. The kids trying to get on with life and having fun is also part of human nature. Heck, the reason why Hitler invaded France is based on human nature as well. And that Hitler wants to take revenge over the terms and conditions the French imposed on Germany in the armistice that ended World War I. But human nature isn't exclusive. There are good human natures and bad human natures too. In historical events like World War II, it's mainly the bad ones, of course. But what the Long Long Holiday reminds and teaches us is that good human nature is also present when everybody is being a jackass. It celebrates these virtues, as well as the grit and struggles of the people overcoming the oppression. If you are, at this point, planning to watch the entire series, you're going to see a mix of both good and bad humanity. The good and bad sides of humanity isn't exclusive to the French nor the Nazis, and that's a great message, because in today's political climate, we often associate those who have an opposite political standing as a flipping antichrist. And this series teaches us to not associate people with their political beliefs, the creed, or the religion, and instead see people as people. Yeah, I strongly recommend you all to go watch it, and just spend a Saturday afternoon with a bag of crisps, and watch the whole thing in one go. Anyway, that's all I have for today. And stay out!